All right, the next one. We did have a couple questions about carpooling. I think I did an intro to this lesson and I mentioned carpooling. So let's talk about carpooling right now. It is very popular in the United States. Carpooling is when a group of people are going to the same place. So one person will drive and the other people will ride along as passengers. Why would you do this? Well, to save money and to save wear and tear on your car. We'll talk about wear and tear in just a minute. But here's a sentence for you. Some people will carpool to work to save money. When you carpool, you share a ride with another person. So if one person drives for a week, another person might drive their car the next week. That way, you will save money on gas. You will save wear and tear. It saves wear and tear on a person's car. You will hear that term often in English, and that means having to get new tires, having to get a new engine, just all of the things that wear down, an English phrasal verb, that wear down on your car when you drive. The engine, the battery. We're not going over all of the parts of the car, but as you know, whenever you drive, you're doing damage to your car. Little bit, but the tires, they're not as new as they were before you drove. So, wear and tear on the car, oil changes. I didn't talk about that, but two things you put in the car are gas. We'll talk about gas in a minute. But then you also put in oil. It's darker, blacker than gas. And so some people have to get an oil change every 3,000 miles. If you're carpooling, you're not driving as many miles, so there isn't as much wear and tear on your car. In the United States, we also have something called carpool lanes. Carpool lanes. You will find these on the highway, and as long as you are carpooling, you can use this lane. And oftentimes, when traffic is very heavy, when it's rush hour, we will talk about that in a minute, you can get to where you need to go, maybe work or home. You can get there more quickly in the carpool lane because there are fewer cars in the carpool lane. You can only go in the carpool lane if you are carpooling. If maybe you and at least one coworker are in the car together, somebody you work with. You cannot go in a carpool lane if you're driving by yourself. And yes, you can get a ticket for driving in the carpool lane if you are not driving with a carpool. Hope that helps. Checking the chat here just to make sure. Oh, Skeletor. I thought you were one of my students in my classroom, like Austin. All right. Yes. There's Austin. He's a student in my class. He knows English, but he's hanging out in the chat. Thank you, Austin. Yeah, so Skeletor, join us in the volley server. Ah, my blue jeans are well worn, Manuel says. Yeah, I'm wearing blue jeans today too. But they must not be well worn because Jamie asked, "Are those jeans new?" I said, "No. I've had them for a few years. But they feel worn. They're nice and comfortable." Hey, Marty's here. Amina is saying hello to Mahdi. I did not see him, but I hope all is well in Saudi Arabia. Ooh. Yulia, what? I have never seen that word in my life. Amortization, I guess, is maybe how you pronounce it. I have never seen that word in my life. So, as I always say, if I am a native English speaker, I have been speaking English for more than 40 years. I have been teaching English for more than 20 years. If I have never seen that word, maybe you don't want to use it because it's likely that other English speakers will not know that word. Now, one thing I do know about that word is in the middle is the root word mort, M-O-R-T. And when you see that in English, there's a good chance it means something about death. So I wouldn't use that word, but it probably has something to do with something getting worse or slowly dying or something like that. But I would not use that one. All right. Wow, Austin. I did not pay him to say that. He says he is a cool teacher, one of my favorites. He can dish all the dirt. he can say all the bad things. Miho is here from Japan. Hope you're doing well. The next one is dead end. Speaking of dead in Mort, a dead end. That is a road that just comes to a complete stop. You may see that road sign in the United States. Be prepared. You are going to have to turn your car around and go the same way you came. I got a sentence for you here. Dead end. A dead end is when the road comes to a complete stop and you need to turn your car around. It happens, especially in smaller towns. There might be a lot of dead end roads. A lot of Americans like to live on dead end roads because the only traffic going down that road is usually people who live there. They're usually very quiet roads. There isn't any through traffic. Through traffic is when people pass by a house and they might be going to work, to the store. They're just going through your neighborhood, but they're not stopping. Through traffic. Dead end. This is not true, but I have a sentence. Sounds like the garage door is opening. Maybe my wife Jamie is leaving. Oh, she said she was going to the store. This is not a true sentence, but let's practice this foreshadowing. I live on a dead end street. I don't, but I do live in a quiet neighborhood. Usually, the only people driving by my house are people who live in my neighborhood. We don't have a lot of through traffic. Ooh. Brakes. We can, Jamie's shaking her head. We can talk about brakes. I don't know if you just heard those brakes squeaking, but we just had the brakes done on our car a couple weeks ago. They work great, except when you're going backwards in the car. We might say backing up. When you're backing up and you push on the brakes to stop the car, they squeak. That's how I would describe that noise. If you heard it, the brakes are squeaking. So yesterday, Jamie took the car to the mechanic. A mechanic is a person who fixes cars. Jamie took the car to the mechanic and they said, wait a couple more weeks. If the brakes still squeak, we will need to replace them. We will need to get you different brakes. We won't have to pay for it, but new brakes squeak sometimes. But I have a feeling we will be going back. Screech. You could call it a screech, but I would call that a squeak. The brakes are squeaking. A screech might be what a person does when they can't sing very well and their voice is high. Ooh, that person is screeching. Maybe a witch. It's getting close to Halloween. If you've ever heard a witch speak, sometimes they screech when they speak. All right, just looking through the chat here. See if I'm missing anything. Ronnie. It's being funny. He said, did he promise you an A just to say that? You'll never know our secret. Hey, I'm a big believer in breaks in class. We are in class for 55 minutes, my students and I. And from all of the research that I've done, it is best to learn 20 minutes at a time. So this English lesson will probably go 40 to 60 minutes. So maybe a little too long, but you can always watch on replay. In class, it's a little different. Cuba's in the house. Dunsney, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. All right. Checking the chat. I might be missing some things. I'm sorry, but love it mode. What happens in Mr. Watson's class stays in Mr. Watson's class. That's true. And what happens in the Discord server stays in the Discord server. Screeching brakes. No. She was not driving very fast. She was just backing out of our driveway and they were squeaking. But this is not an English lesson about verbs that make sounds. In English class, we might call that onomatopoeia. I promise that's a real English word, onomatopoeia. Those are words that actually make sounds like screech, squeak, oink, meow, bang. Screeching brakes, though, that yes, if somebody was coming to a stop after going fast, they might screech their brakes. Manual, yes, thank you. It's great use of that word. Great use of that word. All right, back to the lesson. Cruise control. Cruise control. Let's look at a sentence. Cruise control is handy when you are driving for a long time on the highway. You do not have to leave your foot on the gas. So at least in the United States, most highways, the traffic flows pretty well. You can stay at a constant speed. You don't have to go faster, then slow down and go fast again. If you can go at the same speed, you can put on cruise control. That's what we call it in English. It's a little button on the steering wheel that will basically keep the car at the same speed. It's really handy. It's really convenient. It's really nice. It doesn't make your foot hurt as much. Hope that helps. You know, one thing I forgot to talk about when we talked about carpool is the verb. Pool can actually be a verb. You may know pool as a big place with water. Nice to swim in during the summer. Sounds like there's some sirens in the distance. But pool can also be a verb, and it means to combine your money or to combine your resources. You can pool your money together. Is that loud? Can you hear that? Pool can be a verb meaning to combine resources. Let's pool our money so we can get a really nice vacation home. That is something that happens in the United States with families. I have a brother, I have a sister. None of us are rich, but it is possible one day, if the three of us pool our money together, we could buy a vacation home. So maybe a week in the summer, my family can stay there. Another week in the summer, my brother's family can stay there. Another week, my sister. Pooling our money, combining it to buy something. Houses, land, probably not a car, but some families will pool their money, try to buy nice things. Hope that helps. Pool. Next one. It's a phrasal verb. Very common phrasal verb. Gas up. Just in case you haven't heard it before, it's kind of what it sounds like. You basically put as much gas into the tank. That's where the gas is stored in a car. You put as much gas as you can into the tank. Gas up. When you gas up your car, you put in as much gas as the tank will hold. You fill up your car. Both English phrasal verbs mean the same thing. Gas it up, fill it up. Put as much gas as you can. There's a lot of sirens. Hope everything is all right. Probably not, though. If everything was all right, I don't think we would be hearing as many sirens. Please let me know in the chat. Can you hear the sirens? Weed? What does that mean? This is not about weed. Okay, Mode is confused for a second. Hold on a sec. Wait, hang on. This sounds like it might be a big question here. So let me grab a sip of water. Be right back.
If this lesson is helping your English improve, don't forget to tap that like button and share it with a friend who's learning English.
All right, if anybody would like to get a mug that shows off how much you like English, there is free shipping in the store today. I think there is a link. I also have a sweatshirt that I'm wearing.
If this lesson is helping your English improve, don't forget to tap that like button and share it with a friend who's learning English.
All right. For today only, though, check out the store. It is free shipping. It should be free international shipping. If you're watching this on replay, don't worry about it. Like, I will let you know when free shipping is back. They do it about once every month. It's been on there for a couple days. I just haven't mentioned it, but if anybody wants to get anything from the store, free shipping. I'm told free international shipping too, which is crazy. I think I have because I tried it this morning, and you should see a little if you choose to buy something. Take a look at this. Yeah, all I had to do was push like redeem. At least that's what it told me in English, to redeem the sale, and then it took off shipping. So you could get a mug like this if you would like, for like $15, something like that. Show everyone how much you love English. But again, if you're watching on replay, don't buy it. There will be another sale. I'll let you know. Mode had a question. I'm always nervous when Mode has a question, but he's confused. Let's make sure he's not confused anymore. I'm a little confused. So you can only use screech with brakes when it comes to a stop after going fast, but we can't use it for any other sounds that come from brakes. I mean, you could. You could say the brakes were screeching when Jamie backed up, but I would describe it as squeaking. Squeaking is just a little bit shorter of a sound. Squeak, like a mouse. The noise a mouse makes in English, we would call it a squeak. A screech is a little bit longer. It lasts a little bit longer. Just like that person singing. Yeah, screech. It also might, not that I have a lot of hair left, but when you hear screeching, the hair on your head might stand up. You get that funny feeling in your back. Oh, if you're young, you don't know this, but if you take your fingernails and you take a chalkboard, that would be a screech. If you scrape, another big word there, if you scrape your fingernails along a chalkboard, that's a screech. That's not a squeak. Hope that helps. Maybe I should do an entire English lesson on verbs that make sounds. Could do that. Or it could be a noun. Depends on how you use it. The brakes were squeaking, verb. I heard a squeak, noun. Hope that helps, Mode. Good question. For as tricky as Mode is, as sneaky as Mode is sometimes with his tricks, he does have good questions. Oh no. What happened? Wait, what happened? I'm just, sounds like, oh no. Okay, so Jamie, we heard, this is live, folks. This is live breaking news. I have my phone on me. They are actually blocking off all the streets going that way. So she's trying to get to the store. This is breaking news. This is breaking news, everyone. Yes, that's, wait, what? I need to back. Oh no. So we're talking about driving. It's a pretty bad accident. It sounded bad. If I was a really good YouTuber, I would say, yes, Jamie, we are only sharing the pictures in the Discord server. You need to become a member. But that wouldn't be very nice, right? Come on. Hey, all of the English is free on this channel. If you become a member, it's just a bonus. A little more talking, maybe a few more questions answered. If she does share pictures with me, I will try to share them on my phone. How about that, if I can? But I will also put them in the Discord server. All right. Yeah, it's just not good, man. I hope nobody's hurt. That is just a horrible day for anyone involved in an accident. Just hopefully everyone is safe. Now, Elena, I didn't want to say anything. She says, Brent, aren't you scared when Jamie's driving? Oh, okay, that's different. Now, when I heard the sirens, I thought, oh, she was traveling that way. In the back of my mind, I did have a thought like, oh, I hope Jamie wasn't involved in an accident. But this is a different question. Brent, aren't you scared when Jamie's driving? We have many men who are afraid when their wife drives the car. No, that is not a fear that I have. Jamie is very capable. I think women are just as capable of men driving. My daughter drives. My son drives. Now that worries me a little bit just because they don't have as much experience, but I know that they are mature. Nails on a chalkboard. Yes, that is an English term we say sometimes. If something is a bad sound, you might hear, oh, sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Maybe you have that person in your life who just has a voice that like nails on a chalkboard. Car doors. Car doors. I think they would squeak. Yeah. That's a good question. The windows? Probably squeak as well. Maybe when you're rolling down the window and there's a long noise, that's could be screech. But hey, if you're an English learner, English isn't your first language, don't worry too much. Screech, squeak, they're very much the same, almost completely the same. Excuse me. All right, let's get back. Everyone is okay, Jamie says. Good. Ooh, okay, the accident is 1.5 miles from our house. Housc. My neighbor is coming. Yeah, I told you about the older neighbor. He doesn't know about the internet, so he just might not gonna be very good. Let's go on with the lesson here. But if he says hi, I'll have to say hi. All right, the next one is headlights. Headlights, and that picture might tell the whole story. That part of the car is called headlights. It is a myth. Women drive the car better than men, Manuel says. Hey, that's great. Yeah, I think equally, right? There are some bad drivers who are men, and there are some bad drivers who are women. Good call. Love it. Hang on. What was the firing up? I just heard someone firing up their car. Did you hear that, folks? I didn't hear it, but doesn't mean it didn't happen. Yeah, you could say that. Fire up their car, start up their car, crank their car. Bunch of different ways to say start the car. Yeah, nicely done, Mode. Rubber ducks squeak. Harry, couldn't have said it better myself. Squeak, squeak. Perfect. All right. Mega. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's what makes English so hard sometimes is we have 50 words to say the same thing. Or there might be just a minor little difference. Brent wrote a book. How do you know? How do you know this? Are you in my class? Because I do read a book. I don't know what's going on in the chat anymore. But yeah, my students are currently reading a book that I wrote, but it's not published yet. All right. Next one. This one may be a little harder though. And that is high beams. So we just talked about headlights. Those are the regular lights on your car. But if it's really dark and you are the only one on the road, you can make those lights brighter. And in English, we call those high beams. Your high beams. And I have a sentence for you. If you are the only car on the road and it's dark out, you can turn on your high beams. If you are the only car on the road and it's dark out, you can turn on your high beams. That helps. Speaking of accidents, speaking of headlights, I usually drive with my headlights on because many people say it's safer. That's what I do. I don't know. When you drive, do you drive with your headlights on all the time, even if it's daylight out? I do. When I think of it, I turn on my headlights. People say you are less likely to get into an accident if your headlights are on. Is that true? I don't know. But I think, why not? Just put on the headlights. The next one, intersection. Intersection. An intersection is when two roads cross each other. And in that picture, there is definitely an intersection. And what makes an intersection so difficult that if a road crosses another road, you could have an accident. Cars need to know when to stop and when to go. So luckily, an intersection is where two roads cross. Sometimes we have stoplights or sometimes we have stop signs. So if it's a really busy intersection, you will probably have stoplights where you will have a red circle. In the middle, there will be a yellow circle, and at the bottom, a green circle. And if it's not quite so busy, you might just have stop signs. Hope that helps. Let's check the chat just to see if anything. Mode says, very nice. Brent is becoming the new Stephen King. No. Cat. So there must be more of my students in here. No, feel free to summarize what the book is about, Captain. I'm so confused. I don't know who are like people I've met in person and who are people from other countries. I'm so confused now. Freddie Wolf says the headlights are mostly automatic on cars. See, not my cars. My cars are a little older. So I think our newest car is a 2016. The other car is a 2013. So no automatic lights for me yet. Maybe when we upgrade to another car many years from now. All right, it's easy for Brazilian people. I already got it before you say it. Oh, nice. I love it when a person's native language is similar to English. Sometimes there will be words the first time you see it, but I know that. Unfortunately, if you speak Japanese or Indonesian or Persian or Russian or Ukrainian, not as close to English as Portuguese or Spanish or French or Italian. All right. Oh, Ethan Hodgson is in here. I know him. He's a former student, but his sister is a current student. All right, Noriko from Japan. Question. Can we say traffic lights or signal instead of stoplight? Yeah, you will hear traffic lights. It's a bit more formal. Traffic signal, absolutely. Yeah, I think most Americans would probably say stoplight. I would think. Let's check the phone to see if Jamie has 5 minutes ago. Oh gosh. All right. I will also share this in the Discord server as the UPS truck comes. Somebody is getting a package. They're going by. So yeah, pretty bad accident there. We would say that car is flipped over. But luckily, it looks like, according to Jamie, nobody was hurt. Huge. That is huge. Oh my gosh, mode. I was not going to talk about donuts. So as you probably know, I love to eat donuts. You probably know that term. But also when it comes to driving, a donut, fun to do in the snow. Yes, I have. Brent, have you ever done a donut in a parking lot in the winter? You know what I'm talking about. Yes, I do. And yes, I have. Yeah. So I used to have a car and it had an emergency brake. So I didn't plan on explaining emergency brake, but if you've ever driven a car, you probably know you have two pedals, the gas pedal which makes it go, and the brake, which makes it stop. But if you park on a hill and you just want a little more security, you can put on the e-brake. For some cars, the e-brake is a little pedal you push on, and that pedal stays like pushed in, using some English phrasal verbs. But there are other emergency brakes, or we might call them e-brakes, where you lift up on a handle, and that will help the car stay in place. Well, if it's icy or snowy out, and you go a certain speed, and you lift up on that e-brake, the car will go around in circles a few times. It's what we call donuts. And yes, I might have done a few donuts in my past. It's fun. It's pretty safe as long as nobody else is in the parking lot. Oh my gosh. All right, just looking through the chat. Love to see it. Yeah, Natalia down in Chile says, so sad of an accident. Car so expensive. By the way, that hurts. I can imagine that person is going to be probably pretty sore tomorrow. And I hope they have good insurance. Yeah. Thank you. Yep, we just got the message. Jamie sent those pics. There is one other picture, but I thought I shared the best one. Let's see. This one, let's see. You can see there is an ambulance there, and it looks like the fire department is there. So Jamie and I actually used to live really close to where this is. Oh, somebody else is driving by with a trailer. You probably hear that bouncing around. All right, Musa says, I once drove a car with a guide. I'm still a second grader, which is a little weird. That would be very illegal in the United States, but pretty cool. I'm sure you had a good time. All right, Austin says that he has driven his dad's truck. It happens. Yeah, Austin is probably 13 or 14, so getting ready for those driver's lessons. It happens. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, come on. If you encourage people to do donuts, a lot of them will end up with their car flipped up like they are. That one is. I don't, did Mode never encouraged anybody, did he? I think he just asked a question. He didn't say you should do it. And I am not encouraging anybody to do it, but it can be done safely, I think. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. Marco, how are you? I'm new here. Hey, and if you are new, please don't forget to subscribe. I'm new here. I'd like to know, is there any phrase that describes that, although something bad happened, there isn't something even worse? Man, that's a good question, Marco. How could we say that? I don't know if there is a saying like that. I always try to remember somebody is always having a worse day than I am. I try to say that all the time. I had a pretty bad summer. My house flooded and some other things went on, but I always knew like somebody has it way worse. So maybe you could say that, it's bad right now, but somebody always has it way worse. So we do sometimes say that, and it's always good to remember, at least for me. Oh no, Mahmoud, a little late. That's okay. There's always the replay. Donuts, the eating kind or the driving kind? I say both. Both are pretty exciting. Harry says he prefers eating donuts to doing donuts. That's a good thought to have. Much safer to eat donuts. But if you eat too many donuts, it's not good for you. Not too many donuts. In English, we say moderation. If you do something in moderation, you don't do too much of it. There is a saying, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. All right. We have been doing this for about an hour. I could do this even longer. It is so much fun, but we should wrap it up. I do need to pack. Jamie and I are going to be spending the night in a hotel. I will do an English lesson from that hotel. If you've seen any of the other lessons on this channel at a hotel, you know the drill. You know what happens. I start recording. I can't stop recording until I get to my room. And we learn English all the way. Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. I hope Danny from France, she's just arriving. She's been a channel member for a long time. Wanted to say hi to Danny before we left. Hope everything is well. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Anya, Aroni, Maria, thank you so much for moderating the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing. Don't forget to click that like button if you haven't. And I'll see you next week with another English lesson. I don't have one planned. So if you want to leave a comment, let me know. I'm open to ideas. All right. Adios, amigos. I will see you soon, probably next Saturday, with another English lesson. Adios, amigos.